I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that because that'll tarnish his legacy as well as my legacy.
Let's see at 46 how hard Manny works, and if he still got it. I wouldn't completely count him out. That's all I'm going to say.
Manny Pacquiao is officially back, and this isn't some exhibition against a YouTuber or mismatch with no real stakes. His jumping straight into fire against the current WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios, the fight is reportedly set for July 19th in Las Vegas, and Pacquiao's already in camp looking sharp fast, and surprisingly fresh, the boxing world is stunned, and even Floyd Mayweather had something to say after catching the leaked footage of Manny's training. So what's really going on here? Let's break it all down. Some fighters are born to defy the odds, and Manny Pacquiao is living proof of that at 46 years. Old, the legendary Filipino boxer is stepping back into the ring ready to challenge Father Time and a dangerous young contender in one of the most talked about comebacks in boxing history. His opponent, none other than Mario Barrios, a 29-year-old rising star with youth speed and hunger on his side. 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That, according to ESPN, Pacquiao originally hung up his gloves on September 29th. 2021, calling time on a historic career that spanned over 2 decades, 8 weight divisions, and countless unforgettable moments. Most believe it was the end of the road, but now, 4 years later, he's lacing up the gloves again, this time with gold on the line.
46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That's according to an ESPN.
Set for July 2025, Pacquiao versus Barrios will be contested for the WBC welterweight title, a belt Pacquiao once held with pride. This bout is officially sanctioned under a WBC rule allowing legendary champions to request title opportunities upon returning from retirement, something reserved for fighters of Pacquiao's stature and legacy.
Wild hell news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this has been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years, at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion, Mario Barrios? It's interesting theater, to say the least, with the pay-per-view main event reportedly for July.
Put this generational clash into perspective. When Pacquiao made a professional debut at age 16, Mario Barrios hadn't even been born yet. Fast forward nearly 3 decades, and the two are now set to collide in what can only be described as a modern-day gladiator showdown, an aging lion with endless wisdom and fire versus a young predator hungry for glory. Since the fight announcement, Pacquiao hasn't wasted a second. Training camp is in full swing, and leaked footage from his gym sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans expected to see an aging veteran trying to recapture spark, but what they saw instead was vintage Pac-Man, fast, sharp, explosive. He moved with the speed and precision of a fighter in his prime, not a man approaching 50. Okay, the video sparked debate across social media. Is Pacquiao truly back? Could he really pull this off? Or is this the final blaze of glory before the curtain falls? One thing is certain. Whether you're backing the legend or betting on the future, this fight is shaping up to be more than just a comeback. It's a clash of eras.
Pacquiao last fought in 2021 when he lost to Yordenis Ugas. Barrios won the WBC welterweight title from Ugas in 2023. His last fight was a split decision against Abel Ramos on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson undercard in November. Pacquiao career record 62-8-2 with 39 knockouts. Barrios 29-2-1.
Another video of Manny Pacquiao recently made waves online. And no, it's not from a training camp or sparring session. It's just him casually moving around in a room. But what's crazy is that even in this relaxed setting, Pacquiao's speed is still jaw-dropping. The man moves like he's in his 20s. It's like his hands are on fast forward while the rest of the world is playing in real time. You become a habit when you sort of back like the speed is still there. What this tells us is something fans have quietly suspected for a while. Pacquiao never really stopped training even during retirement. When he was officially out of the ring, the fire clearly never left. He's a warrior through and through, and that speed that's supposed to be the first thing to go as fighters age. Everyone in boxing knows the saying, speed fades first. Power is the last to leave, but Manny clearly didn't get that memo because the speed is still there, and it's scary fast.
I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement and beat an unbeaten Keith Thurman for the welterweight title at the age of 40. There's very few greats that you can call all-time greats, and I think sometimes even above that category, there's that upper room. Is Manny Pacquiao one of those in boxing history? Sure.
Honestly, kind of unreal. Pacquiao is one of those rare people who seems to succeed at everything he touches. Outside of the ring, he wasn't just relaxing or doing media tours. He was running for the Senate in the Philippines. Politics, public service, boxing. The man is a machine, and it really makes you wonder how someone juggles all of this and still manages to move like a world-class athlete.
Couple things. The last thing to go is power, yes. Manny was also absurdly fast in his prime. So like a Roy Jones Jr. who hung on far too long, but was still fighting professionally at the age of 50, he still got speed that kind of compares to the average or above average speed that's out there today.
The answer is the mindset. Manny isn't just chasing paychecks. He's chasing greatness. You can feel it. The vibes are similar to when George Foreman made that legendary comeback in the 90s and shocked the world by becoming heavyweight champion at 45. Now Pacquiao is looking to do something similar, but in a division where speed, reflexes, and endurance are even more critical.
That's how aside from boxing, I enter the politics because I want to serve honestly, to help the people, and I want to be an example, to be a good example to the politician here in the Philippines.
Let's not forget people are starting to take serious notice. One of the biggest names to react recently was none other than Joe Rogan on his podcast. Joe was blown away watching footage of Pacquiao's comeback. You could hear the shock in his voice, and still can crack, and still as fast as lightning. He talked about how it just doesn't make sense for someone to fight like that at age 46. Rogan even praised Pacquiao's genetics, especially those famously. Massive calves legend, and his is such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves. When you look at that, they're giant, they're like a thigh. That's when his guest boxer George Kambosos Jr. jumped in and broke it down. According to Kambosos, Pacquiao's calves aren't just a show, they're a product of decades of hard training, hill sprints, endless road work, and intense lower body conditioning. That explosiveness, that bounce in his step, all of it comes from the way he trains. It's not magic, it's discipline and dedication. At the highest level, I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because it's always constantly running the mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him, my calves started getting bigger and bigger, but I understand, why his calves are huge, but he's always bouncing, he's always moving around. He'll bounce like 20-something rounds, he'll do his pads and his jumping up and down, and he really is an unbelievable person, an unbelievable athlete. And legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really going to, appreciate his great. When you think about it, it's easy to underestimate a guy coming out of retirement. We assume they're rusty slow, just chasing a last payday. But with Pacquiao, that narrative doesn't hold up. Every new video that surfaces shows a fighter who looks sharper than many guys currently in the top 10. And that's what makes his comeback so intriguing. Is not just showing up for a farewell fight, is stepping in to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. That's a serious opponent, that's a real challenge, and it speaks volumes that the WBC even approved it, because they know who Manny Pacquiao is. It's not some nostalgic sideshow. He's a legend who just might still have what it takes. Manny Pacquiao's return to boxing didn't just shock fans, it caught the attention of one very familiar face, Floyd Mayweather. The sudden shift from politics back to the squared circle raised eyebrows across the boxing world, but perhaps the most interesting reaction came from Pacquiao's longtime rival. These two men share one of the most storied histories in modern boxing. For years, Floyd never missed a chance to throw some verbal jabs Manny's way, trash talk, mockery, dismissive interviews, you name it. Their rivalry was intense and often personal. But now things are different. Surprisingly, Mayweather took a much more respectful tone when asked about Pacquiao's comeback. In a rare moment of humility, Floyd called Manny one of the greatest boxers of all time. That a massive statement coming from a man who's never been shy about his own greatness. And Manny Pacquiao, I think that is one of the best. Floyd also reflected on their long-awaited fight back in 2015, the bout dubbed the fight of the century. He admitted that they didn't fight at the perfect time in their careers, but noted that at least they did fight. It was a respectful nod to history, recognizing the magnitude of that night. Even if it came a few years later than it should have. Now, we didn't come together when we wanted to, but we was able to come together and get our fans a hella. But then came the million-dollar question: would Floyd ever consider stepping back into the ring with Pacquiao for a rematch? And the answer, not likely. Mayweather made it clear that he's not interested. He said that another fight between them could tarnish both of their legacies. In his words, it wouldn't do justice to what they've already accomplished, and whether you agree or not, you have to respect the mindset. Floyd's undefeated, Pacquiao's a legend. They cemented their legacies. Running it back now at this stage could muddy the waters. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that, cause that'll tarnish his legacy as well as my leg. So while the world watches Pacquiao gear up for a title fight in 2025, don't expect Mayweather to be standing across the ring from him again. Still, the mutual respect between two once bitter rivals is something fans didn't see coming, and it's a powerful reminder how time can shift even the fiercest of rivalries into moments of grace. But what about you fight fans? Do you think Manny Pacquiao still has a drive to climb boxing's mountaintop once again? Do you see his upcoming bout against the young champion as a mismatch, or do you genuinely believe the Filipino legend has a real shot at beating him and reclaiming the welterweight title? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like